So our first presentation for today is from Dublin, Ireland, Dr. Edel Fahy. She is a lecturer in arts education in the Froebel Department of Primary and Early Childhood Education at Maynooth University in Ireland. Her presentation is We're All Wonders, Celebrating Our Differences Through Educational Drama. So you have 40 minutes and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Junja. I'm hoping I'm getting all the names right. So, good morning from Ireland. A lot of people are still in bed. Normally, I would be as well. So, I don't know if my presentation, I'm going to try and keep it very interactive. I'm going to try and get people involved if you can, if you're feeling up to it. Or if not, maybe you might chat or you might type into the chat box, and that might show us that we are interacting and we are, I suppose, working together. I'm going to show my screen here now. So I think I can share this. So this little presentation, we're looking at that story, We're All Wonders. I don't know if you know it, but it's based loosely on R.J. Palacio's novel, Wonder. So then she went on to write this book, which is specifically for younger children. So we'll talk about this a little bit more as we go through the presentation. I suppose the overall workshop aims just to give you a brief overview of what I'm hoping you take away from this as well. And obviously, if you had you face-to-face, it would be a lot more practical. I was able to see people actually reacting and I suppose engaging with the characters. So through the idea of celebrating our differences, we were going to explore and celebrate the theme of that each of us are different, and we need to celebrate this through collaborative engagement in process drama. And then, as I said, hopefully that by you looking at this presentation or taking part in it, that you'll go away with a few drama ideas which develop critical thinking skills, promote collaboration, embrace creativity, and celebrate our uniqueness. Because as we all know, we are all different. We all look at things from different perspectives. And I think that topical, neurodiverse and neurotypical, I think all of us think in so many different ways. So I think this really embraces this idea as well. So I was looking, I suppose, at educational drama, as we are all here today because we are champions of educational drama and what it can bring and what it can do for children and for individuals. It can make a unique contribution to the development of the child. So again, that uniqueness is focused upon. It can facilitate the child's imaginative, their intellectual, their emotional and physical development in a contemporaneous and holistic way. So it's really looking at the child in a holistic manner as well. It can provide children with opportunities for several different entry points into learning. So we're not just looking at things from a 2D perspective, but it's very 3D, it's very kinesthetic, it's very hands-on. So it's very enjoyable process for the children. And then it also provides opportunities to enter physically, mentally, and emotionally into a role and to cooperate with others in playing at the fictional situation. So I suppose by looking at things from somebody else's perspective, you're putting yourself into somebody else's shoes, and you're taking on that role and seeing what would you do in that situation. So I suppose the taking on the role part, this is a big part of the drama. And the 99 curriculum in Ireland, which we work off in relation to drama, it says that taking a role in drama involves entering into a fictional world and helping to determine what happens in the world in order to understand the patterns of human behavior that underlie a particular event. So hopefully, I suppose, all the personalities, all the different idiosyncrasies of that role come together, and then people get to interact and see what one person said in this situation, what another person would say in this situation, and so on and so on. So many benefits of taking on a role in drama. I'm just going to go through these very, very briefly. It enables children to try out different roles. So they can be the doctor, they can be the nurse, they can be the fireman, they can be Billy Bob, the teacher, they can be Mary, the crazy headmaster, and they can see what it would be like to be and live in that person's shoes. But it's in a fictional context, promoting communication and social skills. So how that person interacts or how that role interacts with themselves and with the wider world. Again, promoting confidence, which is so, so important in relation to educational drama, as we all know. There really is no right or wrong in this role. We are all unique and we are all different. Thank goodness. I'm hoping you're saying. It develops the non-verbal communication, so using gestures, facial expression, body language, and the different mannerisms that might be associated with a role, be it a fireman, be it a teacher, be it a wrestler. It's fun and it's playful. And so by engaging children in these playful situations and engaging children in playful pedagogies, they're really having that positive experience, which they want to do and want to engage in drama again. It avoids children getting stuck in one role. So again, seeing things from different perspectives, they can try on many different hats. So one day they can be maybe a lawyer, the next day they can be a teacher, the next day they can be somebody who's taking out the bins. So again, you're seeing things from lots of different perspectives. Can be used to explore difficult or challenging issues in a safe space. So the drama is in that fictional setting. So by setting up that very safe space, the children know that whatever happens here is going to remain in the drama, and it's very safe. And that, I suppose, unspoken contract between themselves, the teacher, and the other people involved in the drama. And again, which I think is so important, develops that higher order thinking, so that criticality. So children are really encouraged to think on their feet and improvise while enrolled, because this is, I suppose, a massive skill that we use in our day-to-day life, that we're able to think on our feet and solve situations or solve problems. We're all troubleshooting at the end of the day, a little bit of shape-shifting going on. So just a few little things, protecting children before entering into the role, I suppose, having a few little, rules or little barriers or little mechanisms set up before they actually go into the role. So doing things like a drama contract, so then guided by the class teacher, that you would facilitate the coming up with the contract themselves. So again, the children have the agency over this contract. So whatever happens in the drama, they have said, yes, teacher, we're going to do this. We're going to do this because we decided on it. Giving them an opt-out option if somebody doesn't feel safe or comfortable entering into a role. I think this is really important. And again, to state this at the beginning when you're putting your little drama contract together, so they know maybe using a hand up or putting their hand in their head or taking off a role signifier, that means they want to opt out, but again, with the option of coming back. And then the role signifier, again, we've all used this. So using a hat or a jumper or a t-shirt or a scarf. And by putting on that hat, putting on that jumper, putting on that scarf, you're going to go into role as that character. And the object also works really well here. And sometimes, again, it can be, giving the children an option to opt out. If they don't feel safe, they can hand back the object. They can take off the jumper. They can take off the scarf as well. Stepping out of role, which is very, very important as well for children. So they've been Snow White, they've been the big bad wolf, they have scared the living daylights out of the other person in the drama. So now they want to step out of role and they want to come back to being themselves. So they're going to come out of role and they're going to physically brush the role off the body and step out. A nice little one to do is also closing the eyes and returning to the world from the fictional world. Sometimes if you've set up a drama space, be it with your bags or your chairs or a piece of cloth or a piece of material, by stepping over that, you're coming back into the real world. So you're stepping from the fictional world into the real world. Another simple one as well is just turning around, closing your eyes and revealing themselves again. So I am back before they go out into the playground or before they go on into their next lesson. Melting like a candle. I love this one. So you light the candle and you melt right down onto the ground and you come back to being yourself again. Or just simply verbally saying, I am no longer Snow White, I am back to myself being Edel. So again, stepping over the threshold from the fictional world into the real world. So I suppose that's just a little, background into what we're going to try and do now for the next couple of minutes, taking on that role, seeing things from different perspectives, looking at things from somebody else's point of view. So in true drama style, we're going to get a little bit warmed up. So maybe you don't have to turn on your cameras for this, but maybe you can do it with me. I'm going to do it for you. So hopefully you can do it with me. So I'm going to stand up. Well, actually, no, do you know what? I'm going to sit down first. Might be too much to stand up. So I'm just going to get you all to do this with me. So you're rolling shoulders back and forward and back and forward. And then can you put your hands on your hips? I know this is probably a little bit early, but hey, we're going to get up and be nice and bright and ready for the rest of the day. And you're going to bring your hips to the right and to the left and to the right and to the left. And then you're going to get your two hands and you're going to wriggle your fingers in and out and in and out. And then you're going to do your wrists. Very good. And then you're going to do your elbows, making sure they're all warmed up, no creakies. And then the other one. Very, very, very good. And then bring your two hands up over your head. Give yourself a little bit of a stretch. Oh, and you can relax out. Very good. So hope you all did that with me. And then I'm going to get you to stand up. I'll just move my chair over here a little bit. And I'm going to come back. So hopefully you're all standing up here with me now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch my toes for 8, my knees for 8, my shoulders for 8, and then my head for 8. And then I'm going to drop it down to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, you can do this with me. I'll do it once just to give you and it'll run through, and then you can do it with me. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to go to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And a little kick at the end. Woo! So hopefully you're nicely warmed up. That's a nice, easy one to do with the children. And then this is a nice one I like to get the children to do as well. And they can just do this. They don't need a lot of space to do this as well. So that, again, I'm standing up. Hopefully you can all see me. And I'm going to get you to move on the spot in lots of different ways. And hopefully you're doing this with me. So the first one I'm going to get you to do is we're going to just walk on the spot. Nice. Very, very good. And then you're going to jump on the spot. Okay, you ready? Jump. Very good. Excellent. And then you're going to run on in slow motion. That's it. Off you go. You're doing fantastic. And then you're going to do a little bit of moonwalking. I don't know if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, but I definitely am. So a little bit of moonwalking. Okay, very good. Nice and slow in slow motion. That's fantastic. Excellent. And then you're going to go on your tippy toes now. Very good. Okay, I'm very good at walking in tippy toes because I have a lot of high shoes, a lot of high heels. Very good. And then you're going to walk on your heels. Okay. Oh, it's a little bit more uncomfortable. And now you're in a hurry. Big hurry. And your feet are going to go really fast. And your arms are pumping that energy. Fantastic. And you're in such a hurry that now you've got a big, massive, heavy bag. And it's full of all of your favorite shopping, and you want to try and get it home without that bag breaking. I'm sure we've all felt like that sometimes, and that bag is really, really heavy. Very good. And now, I don't know about you, but autumn has started to happen in Ireland, and those autumn leaves have fallen. So the leaves have fallen, and you're running and kicking through the autumn leaves. Very good. And they're up in the air, and they're going over your head, and there are lots of different colors. Fantastic. I hope you can see that in your head. Very good. And now you've come to marshy, muddy land. It looks like it's going to be a struggle. It is. And your feet are getting stuck in every single part of the mud and the marsh. You can drag your legs up, up, and up. Oh, you've got them out of that terrible, marshy, muddy, mucky land. And now you're slipping and sliding on slippery ice. It's coming, and it's coming to get you. Oh, be careful. You don't fall. Okay, so that's a really nice little activity. Okay. And again, all of that can be done on the spot. So you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of equipment, and it can be done very, very effectively. Okay, so hopefully you're all warmed up. I'm a little bit out of breath after all that, but we're going to keep going. So I've done this workshop before. I've done it with children. I've done it with adults, and it's worked really well. I don't know if you've heard this song, Natalie Merchant, Wonder. I've put the YouTube link there as well for you, so you can have a listen to this after this workshop. I've also got a recording of it here. Hopefully this will work. And what I want you to do is just listen to the words of this song. This song is very emotive. It can, really, well, I feel it can really evoke strong emotions. And actually, this was a song that R.J. Palacio listened to, and actually was the starting point for her to go on and write the book Wonder. So actually, the first verse of this song was actually the prologue of the book. So have a little listen to it. I suppose the emotions that it brings on. How does it make you feel? And what story do you think it's trying to tell? Okay. Can you hear it?
From distant
Yes.
cities, just to see me stand over my bed, disbelieving what they're seeing. They say I must be one of the wonders God's own creation. into my questions, one confessions. Reach into my head to steal the glory of my story. They say I must be one of the wonders of God's own creation. And as far as they see, they can offer no explanation.
Okay, so a lovely song.
Have come from this.
There. So you can see there, this was the song that was inspired by which inspired R.J. Falaccio to write the song or the book Wonder. She named her book Wonder directly after the song and used the song's chorus as a prologue of the first chapter. And then featuring the hero of this book, she then went on to write We're All Wonders, inspiring kindness and acceptance in everyone who reads it. So there's a chat box there for you, okay? So maybe we might, if anybody can type in some of the emotions or some of the feelings that maybe, you know, arose in you when you listened to that song. So maybe can people type into the chat box there just to say maybe the emotions that they felt when they listened to that song, how did it make them feel? Or maybe could you hear the story of it? Now, I only played 1 or 2 verses, but you could kind of get the vibe of it. So anybody want to just type into the chat box there? So this is the book that we're going to use. And I suppose the first thing that you do is you'd have a little chat about the cover. So you might ask questions like, what is different about the boy? I wonder, why is he wearing a space helmet? I wonder what words best describe him. And then you might ask the children or the students involved to use these words to create a sentence or two that you think best captures or portrays the boys. So maybe I might get you to do that for me. So just looking at the cover, you see that there for me? So I have it on the screen as well. What's different about him? Why do you think he's wearing a space helmet? Any words that you think best describe him. So any words that you think best describe him, maybe you might type those into the chat box for me. So I'll just put that up again. So anybody want to put a few words into the chat box that you think might describe the boy that you see on the front of the book? Is he happy? Is he sad, do you think? Is he interesting? Is he exciting? Oh, he's gloomy. Very good. Excellent. Happy adventurer. Great. Curious. Maybe a little bit. I think, yeah, I agree. I think maybe a little bit lonely. Very good. Excellent. Any more? Okay, brilliant. Great. So we'll keep going. Okay, so I think he could be a little bit lonely too. Sorry, when you use the chat box, kind of stops your movement. So the joys of online presentation is great. So this is Augie. He knows he's not an ordinary kid. He does plenty of ordinary things. He feels ordinary. He just doesn't look ordinary. And I suppose this is the whole point of the story. It's just not Augie who's different. Everyone's different. And we need to embrace that. And everyone is a wonder, if only they could see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this to you now, okay? And as I'm reading it to you, okay, I'm going to put up some questions, and then afterwards we're going to have a little chat, a little talk and discussion. So some of the questions I might ask: in what way is Augie an ordinary kid? How is he extraordinary? Why does Augie's mother think he's unique? And how does Augie feel when people treat him rudely? And how does his story encourage kindness? So they're going to be some of the questions I'm going to ask. But the first thing I'm going to do is going to read the story so you have an idea of the story. So We're All Wonders by R.J. Falaccio. I know I'm not an ordinary kid. Sure, I do ordinary things. I ride a bike. I eat ice cream. I play ball. I just don't look ordinary. I don't look like other kids. My mom says I'm unique. She says I'm a wonder. My dog, Daisy, agrees. But some people don't see that I'm a wonder. All they see is how different I look. Sometimes they stare at me. They point or laugh. They even say mean things behind my back. But I can hear them. You can see all those facial expressions. They're not very nice, should they not? It hurts my feelings. It hurts Daisy's feelings too. So Daisy there, she doesn't look very happy either. And when that happens, I put on my helmet. I put on Daisy's helmet on too. And then we blast off, up, 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 up through the clouds. So off they go on their imaginary journey. Across the galaxy, all the way to Pluto. We say hello to old friends. So all those people, all those characters, all those creatures he meets on Pluto. From far away, the Earth looks so small. I can't see any people, but I know they're there. Billions of people. People of all different colours. People who walk and talk differently. People who look different, like me. The Earth is big enough for all kinds of people. I know I can't change the way I look, but maybe, just maybe, people can change the way they see. And if they do, they'll see that I'm a wonder. And they'll see that they're wonders too. We're all wonders. So a lovely little story. And I think this is one of my favorite lines. And they'll see that they're wonders too, because we're all wonders. We're all very unique. We're all very different. And I suppose it's really taking ownership of that uniqueness and that wonder that we all have about us. So maybe again, we go back to the chat box and let's go up here if you can find it. And maybe if you can type in what way is Oggy an ordinary kid? So from the story, can you remember what way is Oggy an ordinary kid? So what does he do that's ordinary? What does he do that's the same as with other children? I think he likes to go on his bike. He likes to eat ice cream. He has a little dog. So how is he extraordinary? So what makes him a little bit different? So how is he a little bit extra special? How is he a little bit different? Anybody want to type something in there? So what does he do that's a little bit different? He likes to wear a helmet. I think he has a great imagination, which can take him to all sorts of places and see all sorts of things and meet all sorts of people. Why does Oggy's mother think he's unique? So what does his mum think? Anybody want to type something in there? Okay, and then I suppose this one, which is really important. How does Oggy feel when people treat him rudely? So we saw that picture of all those faces looking at him and those, I suppose, people observing and making judgments. So how does he feel when people treat him rudely? So maybe could you type in a few ideas there, maybe? Does he feel sad or angry or lonely? Good. Sad, ashamed, angry. Thanks, Million Dunja. Very good. And how does this story then encourage kindness? So even looking back at ourselves, I'm sure all of us maybe can identify with some aspects of this story in our lives. How does this story encourage kindness? Anybody want to type something in there? So then what you do here, and unfortunately, because we're online, I can't really do it. Sometimes I've done this before and it has worked well, where we have breakout groups when you're using Zoom, or I'm sure some of you are very familiar with using Microsoft Teams as well. So this kind of works as well. So you break maybe, you know, if you're doing it with a group of people, you divide them into groups, or with your class, you'd have them face to face so that they could create a still image based on the following briefs. And the briefs are taken from the key moments of the story. So one brief or one still image could be Oggy is happy and playing outside with Daisy. So he's outside and playing with Daisy. And then the children are staring, you know, calling names, being rude, and being mean to Oggy behind his back. Oggy then hurt and alone. And then Oggy and Daisy go on their imaginary space journey. They put on their space helmets and off they go to explore the unknown. And then the change then in how people see and how they are with Oggy and accepting him for who he is. So they could be your still imaging, and you could have them maybe in groups of 2 or 3, not too big. And then what you could do is a little bit of thought tracking. I'm sure you've done this before as well, where you tap children on the head or on the shoulder, or even if they don't like that, you can just maybe hover your hand over their head, and they have to say out exactly what thoughts are going through their character's head at this moment in time. So just say, for example, you might tap a mean child and go, oh, look at him. He is scary. or maybe you could hover your hand over maybe Augie at the time. I just feel so hurt and alone. Why are people so mean to me all the time? So again, you're just seeing how that character is feeling at this moment in time as well. So then moving on, we're still kind of in the development section of this workshop. So this picture, I've taken, this is a screenshot from this book here as well, from, here we are, yeah, so this page. So this is a picture of Augie's classmates, and it reveals their reaction to his facial difference. So he obviously is different, he looks different. So I want you again to put on your thinking caps and maybe create questions that you think are appropriate to ask Augie. So at this stage now, you don't really want, you want to, you know, be nice to him and not hurt his feelings, and be kind, okay? So you know he's different, you know he mightn't look like other people, but you want to ask him questions about himself. So choose words that are kind, that are gentle, that make him feel accepted. So I want you to think about these questions, and maybe if you can, if you could put those into the chat box for me as well. So any questions that you think you would like to ask Augie. And again, remember, you want to be kind to him. You don't want to hurt his feelings, but you want to find out a little bit more about him. He's got his helmet on. He's a little bit different. He likes to use his imagination, but yet he's like the rest of us. He likes ice cream. He likes to go on his bike. He likes playing with his dog. He's got a really good relationship with his parents and his mum. So that's what you know about him so far. So, but you want to find out a little bit more. So any questions you might want to ask Augie, off you go. You can put those into the chat box for me now. Excellent. Oh. Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, my name's Augie. It's really nice to be here today. I'd like to get to know you all better. I know that maybe sometimes you think I'm a little bit different, but really I'm just the same. I might look different, but I'm just the same as you. Thank you. I love my helmet. I actually love my helmet. And you know what? This helmet is kind of like magic. When I put on my helmet, it helps me do absolutely amazing things. Like I can go places that you would never believe. Like yesterday, myself and Daisy went on a rocket space adventure. It was so cool. We went all the way to Pluto. Imagine, this helmet got me all the way to Pluto. Didn't even have to buy a train ticket. Didn't have to even get a plane ticket. I went all the way to Pluto. And then we met these really cool aliens. And they were so nice to me. They didn't stare. They didn't say mean things. Like, it was just amazing. Like, so yeah, I love my helmet. Thanks for that. Anybody else? That was a really nice thing to say. Thank you. Anybody have any other things they'd like to ask me or say to me? Yeah, because some days are harder than others. You know, I do try and pretend that everything's fine, and the helmet does help. It does help. But then there's other days and it's just a disaster. You know? And I don't think, like, my mum really understands. You know, I know she tells me that I'm special and I'm different, but sometimes that just doesn't help. And, you know, I come home some days and I'm just really, really sad. And no matter what she says, it just doesn't help. Thank God for Daisy, though. Daisy is deadly. And again, she comes with me everywhere I go. When I'm on my bike, Daisy's on her bike. When we go to space, Daisy comes with me too. She's even got a helmet, you know. So I think having her, she is my saving grace. She's so good. I'm just hoping that one day, you know, all those people that stare at me and are mean to me really see me for who I am, you know, because I have lots of good stuff about me and I've got so much to bring to the world and so much goodness and so much kindness. And I just hope that someday those boys and girls that are in my class will be just a little bit kinder and a little bit nicer, because I think it would make my life and Daisy's life a whole lot easier. What do you think? Anybody? Do you have any ideas of how I could go about getting those boys and girls to be a little bit nicer to me, a little bit kinder? What could I do? Yeah, she's got a helmet and it's so cool. It's tiny. It's really small because she's only a small little dog. So it fits really snugly in around her ears. But again, you know, she doesn't complain about anything. She's really easygoing. So whatever I do with her, and she knows that I trust her and she trusts me. So when I put it on, she knows she's going special places as well. So I actually can hear my mom calling me. So I'm going to have to go. But you know what? It was so nice to talk to you. So give me 2 minutes and I'm just going to have to go and talk to my mom. But I will come back and I will talk to you again. Thanks a million for asking all those really nice questions. I'm hoping that tomorrow it'll be a little bit better and those boys and girls will be a little bit nicer to me because, you know, I think everybody realizes that they're all a little bit different, just like me. But listen, great to talk to you and I'll be back again in a few minutes. My mom's just calling me now. Okay, I got to go. See you later. Bye. Oh, so good. You're so good. Thank you so much for it. I know this is hard doing it online, but you're absolutely fantastic. And I really appreciate all those questions. So you probably have done this before with your class, doing a little bit of teacher and role. So the red jumper is really nice. I did try it out with the helmet before and it just didn't work as well because that seemed to be kind of a, you know, something between me and when you're interacting with the children or the participants. So the jumper works really, really well. And you just get a really nice insight into the character of Augie. So we'll just keep going. I'll just knock off the chat. Sometimes it doesn't help. So we'll move on. Should move on as well. So what you can do, actually, I've done this before as well. You can do something like a role on the wall, okay? And then any words that you maybe feel describe Augie, you can put them on the roll on the wall. So sometimes I do this with two different colors, a blue marker and a red marker. And the red then can be used for all the emotions that Augie might feel, and they might go in the middle. And all the external stuff that you found out about Augie might go on the outside. So we found that Augie is very kind. Okay. I think some of you said he was a little bit lonely. He's a little bit frustrated, maybe. Maybe he can be angry, okay? So that might be all of, I suppose, the emotive stuff that you found out about Augie, and that would go all in the middle because we're talking about what's coming from the heart, okay? And then maybe using a different color, you might add all the stuff that you found out about Augie that's not really associated with emotions. So he likes his bike, he has a dog, he goes on trips to the moon or space. Sometimes he's, I think, space. Put that there. So there you can see there. So I put it in blue. So it's two different colors. So he likes his bike. He has a dog. He goes on trips to the moon or into space. So you can see that you're developing his character. You're building on what we already know about Augie. Another way I've done this before is using Post-its. Okay. So sticky Post-its work really well. So putting all the emotions again in the different colors and just sticking them on. So just saying, oops, and my different color again. So just putting kind again, and you can just stick the Post-it on it as well. And that works really, really well. Sometimes I've done that with children and get them to lie on the ground and draw around them. I don't know why that's not moving on, but you get the idea. And then you're kind of building on the character itself and how you're finding out about Augie and that. So I suppose I'm coming to the end of my little presentation as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work. I'm just following my slides here as well, so I don't get too lost as well. So sometimes the facts you can use, such as physical appearance, can be put onto the roll on the wall. That's your roll on the wall again. Such as gender, his location, where he lives, and he might have an occupation, and his likes and dislikes, his hopes and dreams of the future. And then that can be built up for a drama, for your next drama. More ideas can be added as they discover more about the character over time. And then if you're using the sticky notes, these can be moved around and they can be grouped thematically as well, if you want as well. I've also done this before. I've this before with online, but my slides are not moving on, so I can't really do it. But I've used it with you doing a Padlet. So you can get the children to engage using Padlets. So if you have iPads in the school, they can come up and it'll write up there for you as well. I was hoping for you to do that for me as well, but unfortunately it's not seeming to work for me as well. So hopefully you've seen there a few little ideas. Again, a lot of these you're probably using them already, but are very, very effective and very, very simple, and just basing it around that book structure as well. And again, this is suitable for younger classes, so they really engage with as well. So just to leave you with a few concluding thoughts. So by reaching this wide range of learners, I think we've seen a broad range of different strategies being in use there. Educational drama can really offer an alternative means for representing information, empowering children, to offer their unique ideas, their suggestions in a safe classroom setting. And in this way, I believe that educational drama could have the potential and does have the potential to have strong foundations for transformational learning to occur at all levels, at all children, with regardless of who we are, because we're all very different, all very unique, encouraging children to reach beyond for what is not yet. So hopefully one day we are all going to go to space and we're all going to go to the moon. Okay. So I know I have 2 minutes to go. I said to Junja it would be in around the 40-minute mark, but that's my lot. Thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the rest of the festival today. Together we go on.
Now I will have a short question for Edel. So you're role playing with the kids with Augie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so do kids choose themselves who will they role play? Who will be Augie? Who will be maybe a bully, somebody picking on Augie, or do you do it? So
I
can you
think
explain that a little bit? Yeah.
I think it depends on the class you're working with. You know, if you think that you have a child that understands where Augie is coming from and would have that insight, then you would maybe choose the child. I also think it depends on the amount of experience you have working with children. So sometimes classes haven't done teacher and role before. It depends on the teacher's confidence. So if it's their first time to do this kind of work, like a lot of Irish teachers, you know, sometimes are very reticent to use that strategy because you're exposing yourself. You know, you have to bring a lot of yourself to the character as well. And the confidence has to be there too as well. So I think it's a little bit of you reading the class, seeing if there's a child in the class that could take on that role, that understands, you know, the depth of that character. Or maybe if it's the first time for you doing it, I would say the teacher would take it and model it first, okay? And then give the children the opportunity to do it as well. Or maybe then if you have, like, as you said, a hidden brief within the class, and you could, you know, pick out a few children and give them a hidden brief to be the specific bullies, to maybe be 2 or 3 children who are going to really rock the boat and really ask those, you know, mean questions. And then the other children then could be, you know, I suppose the devil's advocate and the angels and the devils, really. So the other children could be asking the kind questions. They could be defending Augie all the time as well. I think generally when I've done this with children, they always end up defending Augie, going, no, leave him alone. He's lovely. We love Augie, you know, because it always kind of brings the good side out of the children as well. So yeah, I do think it's all very dependent. You know yourself, classes are different. They operate differently as well. I think the more you get to know your class, the more you'll be able to see, is it my space to step into, or would I know a child will be better in that role as well? Yeah. I think if they see you doing it a few times, you know, if you put on a hat, like if you're doing Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, or if you're doing, I know, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and you're putting on a wig. So if they see you doing it a few times, they know what it takes, and then they might be easier to step into the role as well. Yeah. So I think you have to be the one to take the risk first. I think the teacher has to be the role, the leader. You have to lead by example, leading by good practice all the time. Yeah.
But do you also think that this method can be used for maybe a conflict resolution?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, definitely. And again, depending on the conflict, and I suppose bullying is such a part and parcel of our lives, not only in our classrooms, but when we go on into the big bad world, in our workplaces, it's everywhere. So I think giving children the strategies to be able to manage that and to deal with that definitely is an excellent way to do it. And again, I do think the teacher could be the person that could model that, you know, how to manage conflict and how to do that in a safe, kind, respectful place. Because I think in the big bad world that we live in nowadays, and I think we see it every day on our television screens, being kind is our superpower. You know, to be kind to people. That's what you remember teachers for. You don't remember what you learned, but you remember how you're being taught or how you're being treated and how kind they were to you. And that's your lasting legacy as a teacher as well. So
that's really great. Thank you. I think conflict resolution is a really big point for all of this, and I think the drama really helps with that within groups, especially
and I think,
with children.
sorry,
Yeah,
I use obviously that book today, but I'm a big fan. I know that Eva said that as well about the book Wonder. And I know I've got small children myself, and I've done this with them, and I've got a teenager and he's read Wonder and he goes, Mom, it makes me cry every time. So you know the impact these books have, you know, so I'm seeing it not only from a teacher point of view, but I'm also seeing it from a parent's point of view as well. So I think when you pick good content, you know, it's going to really hit the heartstrings and really going to resonate with children on an emotional level,
Yeah, Sanya wrote in chat, what a beautiful message. Kindness, teaching kids teaching kindness through drama education. Yeah, I think that's a really big point.
Yeah, it's a massive tool, and I don't think it's really used as much as it should be, and it kind of permeate. Like, I'm a primary school teacher, so I'm always thinking about the arts, like drama, music, visual arts. So I'm always thinking about how you can bring that into your class, because it makes it so much more engaging, so much more exciting, so much more memorable. You're the teacher they remember because you've tried out all this stuff. You've sang Bob Dylan in your class. You've, reached out to the children and you've told your message in a really interesting, exciting, diverse, emotive way. And you'll be memorized, and you have a legacy because of that. Yeah.
Thank you. So from the point of drama teacher, somebody that uses drama in the classroom, you're somewhat much more than only a teacher, right? You're a psychologist to see all those emotions that kids are experiencing and what do they learn about themselves through these processes. I think that can be valuable for you as a teacher, right? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I never thought of myself as a psychologist, but yeah, I'm liking that title now. But I think, as a teacher, you are in local parentheses, you're with those children for a long time throughout the day. So you really get to know those children, and you get to know what they like and what they don't like. And, I work in a department, it's the Froebelian practice, Froebel, and he always talks about starting with the child. So we're going from where the child is at. So you're always trying to identify and see what their interests are, what makes them tick, what can you tap into, what makes them excited. So I think when you can latch on to that, and then you can bring them through drama, to that on that journey of the unknown. And then you can help them to maybe navigate all the difficult or complex situations that they might meet throughout their lives. And obviously, when they're going into the older classes, this is kind of at a very basic level. But I think when you're getting to the older classes, like with social media, like that's a big part of their lives now, and how to navigate that. And it's online. And sometimes we can't always protect them from that, be it a teacher or be it a parent. So I think giving them the strategies to actually navigate that, because I think that's going to be one of the biggest problems in our lives today. So yeah, I think I'm kind of completely going off point there, which I do a lot. And the psychologist part of it. Yeah, I think as a teacher, you are probably doing that. I never looked at myself at that, but yeah, probably.
I think that's automatically. You do that automatically.
Yeah,
You don't
do it
even realize it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's, I suppose, as a teacher, you don't do it because you're making a huge amount of money. You do it because you love the job. The profession is what drives you all the time. Yeah. And I suppose that's what you really want to, I suppose I'm training teachers now, and I really want to embed that in teachers as well, young teachers going forth, because you are making such a huge difference. Like, I look back on teachers that I worked with and they all love drama. I mean, in Ireland, we're very passionate about the arts and creativity. And I mean, the school I went to was really into that. And I think I've always brought that to every class that I've worked in as well. And I would hope that when the teachers that I work with, that they will bring that love into the classroom as well. Because, I'm sure you've heard of W.B. Yeats. He spoke about lighting the fire. Education is not the filling of the pail, but the lighting of the fire. So you really want to spark up that interest, be it in drama or music or visual arts or any creativity, because I think that really feeds into your learning as well, because then you're much more creative in the way you write, in the way you speak, in the way you interact with people. It comes through. I think creative people are fun people to be around. So that creativity, I think if you can really ignite that as a teacher, I think it's really important. So the psychologist part, yes. Creativity, yes.
Thank you for that. I also ask you, because you mentioned social media and technology, and of course you cannot protect children from that nowadays, and I don't think you should, maybe, perhaps. But do you use it, or do you see the future where you, as a drama pedagogue, use technology in the classroom with children for drama purposes, for purposes of drama education?
Yeah, I've actually used it quite a lot. Just iPads as well, doing little recordings of their work using the green screen. They love that, because every classroom has an interactive whiteboard. So again, as a big part of the assessment process, I would get the children, or I would do it as well sometimes, to take little videos of their work and then playing it back to each other, and then doing a little critique of it. They might use that little assessment. I'm sure you're familiar with it. 2 stars and a wish. What I liked about my performance, what I'd improve about it, where can we go? So again, that audience piece, which I think is so important. In Ireland now at the moment, we're actually in a very exciting stage because we have a brand new curriculum. So we're kind of looking at a more integrated approach between music, visual arts and drama. And that even goes back to Eva's, presentation, using music to complement your drama. So, I mean, even when they're doing little films, I would get them to do little films. So they might do their drama first, but they also might create a little soundtrack to go with it as well. And then they're recording it, playing back to each other, then they're editing it. So yeah, I've used that quite a lot, the iPad aspect of it, and using the little the video aspect of it, and as part of the assessment process, but also then hoping that they would get better at what they're doing as well. And TikTok, we've used that as well. That's really, the older classes love that. Yeah, doing little TikTok films. Yeah.
I mean, that's cool because film is also dramatic art. So
yeah.
You go all
and it's
around.
just a taster in it as well. And I suppose they think film is, about Brad Pitt and, all the big film stars. But I think you can do film in your classroom. Here we're doing film right here and now. It can be just like that, doing the little TikTok films or doing the little iPad, the little movie maker. That is film. And they kind of get so shocked and so surprised that they're actually doing film in their classroom. It's real, it's live. It mightn't be on the big screen. You might need to go to the cinema to see it, but it's film. It's happening here and now.